Hi and welcome to day 21 of Counting the Omer. This day is truly about allowing the king and the queen to be expressed through our hearts. What I truly love about Counting the Omer as a spiritual practice is that by day shifting the energies, I become more and more aware of where there are obstacles or patterns or wounds that keeps me from allowing that king or that queen to be expressed. It's very obvious to me now when my inner children or that wounded child within is taking over the show in a way. Because the experience of that is pain and suffering and suppressed energy and exhaustion and numbing and fear and smallness or grief or feelings of being lonely. And I just love how God is giving me situations so I can see where there is still some trauma or wounds or some aspects which is not healed yet, some fragmented aspects within my being. And today I'm sitting with two giant wounds within me, but I know this is in the collective. It's a giant trauma between the masculine and the feminine. And I know that it's shown to me for a reason right now. Because there is this force that wants us to heal the trauma between the masculine and the feminine. So we can truly allow ourselves to express that divine nature, the king and the queen. Allowing this beautiful presence and this essence of who we are to manifest into the world. But if we hold fear or smallness within ourselves, within the mental and emotional body, that life force, that creative life force and that love and harmony and joy, it will be suppressed. It will be held back because of fear. This trauma between the masculine and the feminine is truly about that. That for some reason we got separated. That's the first wound I'm sitting with. It's this feeling of being one with everything, with God, with each other, with our husband or wife, or the masculine and the feminine aspect within. And then it's this pull from each other. Like I see one circle being pulled away. So it splits into two circles, and suddenly there's a distance between us. There's air between us. There's a separation there. And that split, one can see that as a split between our mind and the soul, the body and the soul. This is what happens when we experience trauma. And when the feminine got suppressed, because the masculine felt small next to her, and he wanted to feel more powerful and more connected, and for some reason he felt he needed to have power over her, a giant trauma came up between us. Instead of coexisting and co-creating together, like the divine masculine father and mother actually are doing. There's no war between them. He doesn't feel small when she creates the nature. He's just there with his consciousness and giving her the power so she can create. So he's there supporting her in her creation and her wisdom. So in the story about Adam and Eve, God takes out from the rib of Adam and creates Eve. So it's the masculine consciousness that gives birth to the feminine creation, or the feminine wisdom. And it was Eve that guided Adam. Let's take a bite from this apple. First the snake, the power animal snake, comes in, telling Eve that if you eat from this, you will have a new experience. You will go down to earth. And you will learn so much about evil and good and the tree of life. So Eve guides Adam to do the same thing. It's a free will, a free choice they both take together. They are there in oneness with each other, and then they go down to earth where they split into two. And because of the human experience and the physical experience of being here on earth and the karma that was created in that moment, the law of energy, they start to create this idea and this feeling of being separated and almost being in context or competition with each other. So how this was represented for me the other day was when I was creating music with my dear friend, and he told me that he got triggered by me because he misunderstood me where I came from when I was in this creative, inspired mood. He sent me a song and I felt so inspired by it. I was in such a blissful moment while I was listening to his song, and this creative creative flow just came through me, and I shared with him what became alive in me, and I was in this co-creation with him. But in him, what came up was this feeling that I wasn't happy with what he had written and produced. And that really shows me that this is how we react all the time to each other, even though the intention and the energy that the other person comes with, there's already this feeling of smallness and this feeling of fear. And then suddenly there's this wall between us. And because of his fear and that he got triggered, what happens immediately in me is a contraction. It's a feeling of, oh no, I did something wrong and that was mindless about me or from me, and I shouldn't have, I should have realized that my actions could lead to this sort of reaction. That's my wounds, my fear. So the masculine in this situation needs to heal his wound when it comes to feeling small and not good enough. And the feminine needs to heal her fear of being put down or projected onto. The feminine has been carrying this wound for thousands of years. It's a huge trauma in the feminine. to be suppressed, that her creative force is being suppressed by his fear and his feelings of being small. And if we don't let go of that, it will completely block the whole creation. The whole creative flow will be just blocked by the fear. I remember I had this with my ex-partner as well, because I can understand my shadow part of it, because I'm very creative and I can start all these kinds of projects, and it became very overwhelming to him. But I remember I said to him, you know what? Can you just for once say yes to my creative ideas and work with me, see where this can take us? And he did that. Okay, let's try that. And we created this beautiful, amazing garden together. And it brought us to such a deep intimacy and love and joy over doing this co-creating together. When I'm in this trauma response, because I carry trauma from not only this lifetime, but also past lives, when my creative energy, or at least I hold it in my, because it's so deeply rooted in the collective consciousness field. So I carry this within my DNA. And when it's triggered, I immediately shuts down. My creative flow just, then I stop myself, because I know somehow back there one time my medicine and my creativity led to being killed. I have a memory when I was killed in a past life. If it's mine or someone else's, it doesn't matter, but it's there. Women have been killed for their medicine and their creativity, because the man felt so small and he just couldn't stand it. So it was easier for him to kill her or suppress her and make her small. So he didn't have to deal with his own smallness and his own fear of not being good enough. So this is the past, and we can't change the past in a way, but we can change the moment. We can start doing like my friend did. He shared what came alive within him, and he saw himself and how he projected that onto me. And by opening up and to be so vulnerable and being so courageous that we can look within and see where we are coming from, and allowing that wounds to be expressed, because it's a wound in him as well, probably from his mother or his parents and his past. It's from the collective. Why do a man grow up and feeling so intimidated and small next to a woman? Well, there must be a reason for it. It's not coming from, this mean side. It's coming from a wound within himself as well. And I truly believe that the only way we can heal this is through love. to sit down with each other and look into each other's eyes and say, I see you. I see where this wound is coming from. And I know this is just fear. And maybe this fear is not even yours, it's just there between us in the collective field. But let's heal it. I will heal my fear and my reactions, which is to shut down, pull back, avoid meeting that person again maybe, or just going into my shell. I choose to stay in that connection with an open heart and allowing all those wounds to be healed from that love which is inside. So I can see my brothers shine their light, completely free, completely open, completely without fear. When we are triggered and things are very alive in us, it doesn't feel very good. I feel exhausted when this is really running in my system. And I feel down and I feel my body is vibrating in this lower state. But I know also when this is happening that it's always happening for a reason, because I'm here to heal it. And if God doesn't give me opportunities or situations where I will feel it, then I can't do my job. So this is how we can allow the king and the queen to dance together, to be manifested into earth. Choose love, choose peace, choose joy, and allow yourself to tap into that creative superpower, life force, energy, and let it purge through all those layers of fear that's in this collective human experience. And I can promise you that every time you make that choice, you are changing the human experience. And you are bringing the feminine and the masculine energies together into a sacred marriage with each other, so they can truly coexist and co-create in harmony and peace. This is the Tiferet. This is the heart. And Malchut, or Shekinah, can be manifested through our hearts, through our expression of the heart. If we heal those energy chakras between them, the Shekinah or the Malchut is manifested into the feet or into the root chakra, into the end of the spine. So it moves upwards towards the heart, and it can be through the heart. But if it moves through a sacral chakra, which is full of wounds, full of fear, full of ideas and experience of separation, it kind of brings with it that energy upwards. Imagine the energy is moving through a tunnel, and within this tunnel there is lots of energy, and all your past experiences, also your past lives experience, and this life experience and the collective experience is within your body, because you are the universe. It's inside. And all the shadow aspects of the planets are also there, and the star system, the zodiac signs, everything is within you. So when the Shakti energy starts to move upwards towards creation, it has to go through this tunnel of energy. And that energy which is there is being merged with the creative life force that moves upwards in spirals. And if that energy in that tunnel is not purified, is not cleared out, imagine what it will bring into creation. It's so visible to me now. So this is the whole, how to say, this is how it moves. There's this masculine, godly presence, consciousness there continuously supporting the feminine creation, giving energy to her so she can go pregnant with that for a certain moment of time, and then she gives birth to it. And this is happening whether you're a man and a woman. We have both energies within. And if you have been here on earth before, you have probably you have been a man and a woman. So your soul is not necessarily feminine or masculine. It has this masculine and feminine principle inside itself. It's been born out of the feminine aspect of God and the masculine aspect of God. And you bring both of those energies into your own creation. You are that tree of life. You have the Ida and Pingala energies moving upwards. You have the masculine and the feminine nervous system, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. You have the left and the right side of the brain. You have that direction on the right side of the body and the feminine aspect that holds back and waits and surrenders. But it's all about bringing them into harmony with each other, bringing them into this sacred dance where they can co-create instead of making a war. When this is out of balance with each other, it's like when the feminine energy goes into a very unbalanced state, you can look within the nervous system. It can become completely numb and exhausted and without any movement. It's just a complete collapse. And you can see this in ME patients or people who have experienced some sickness, and then after the sickness, they go through a heavy fatigue. It's this feeling of collapse, like there's no energy, there's no movement, and then suddenly, if there is some stress response, the nervous system goes into a war. It's like it's fighting a war, so it becomes overactive, and then it's hard to rest until the body collapses again. So here the parasympathetic nervous system and the sympathetic nervous system is out of balance. It's not vibrating in its potential, where there's a natural flow between them. There is a healthy dance. So we all need to take responsibility to take care of our physical bodies, our nervous system, our hormone system, our mental state, our emotional state. And all of this is affecting each other. And we need to heal our souls. At least most of us. I think there are some humans here now walking the earth who maybe comes from different places and don't have this reincarnating experience here on earth, but they are still a part of the human collective field. So their experiences is human. And they still have a soul that has been traveling and which needs healing. I listened to a book yesterday that was talking about Yeshua and how he was healing people. And it touched me deeply because he knew exactly when the soul were ready to receive that healing, or if the soul was on the who was on this state that it would be healing itself. Because when we are able as a soul to bring ourselves into wholeness in our own timing and learn the lessons from it, it's so empowering. And then he knew when a person needed that healing because it was too much to handle on its own. The karma was just too heavy to carry. And that soul was lost in a way, didn't know how to bring itself into that wholeness, bring that fragmented parts back and to release all the karma. It was just going in circle and circle and circle and circle and creating it all over again and again and again. I see myself doing that. Sometimes I have this feeling, will I ever get out of this karmic wheel? But I am. We are spiraling out of it when we become very conscious about our own wounds and traumas, and we are able to shift out of it and bring love into those wounded children. It just can't stay in the same state anymore. You have changed. You are more whole after that. So I think we all need to find some methods or have some tools that can help us when we become aware of that we are in a wound or operating from a trauma. And if you don't have that, if you don't have those tools, go searching. For me, IUPT really showed me, which is a way to do resonance for each other. That really showed me how I could do that for myself, just to bring out my inner children and to make them show me how they were feeling. And then I am there and embracing them. And this can be done in groups, and you can go to family constellations. There are so many different ways to heal ourselves. Also working with a therapist who do more somatic work can help really, because we have all these patterns stored within our bodies as well. So only working with the mind, it will bring you to a certain point and it will help you to become more aware of what's going on. But I really truly believe that we also need to work with our bodies. And our soul. So if you find yourself stuck in a pattern, you just can't find your way out of it, and you really want to heal it and to see the truth about it and where it comes from, find the shaman who can help you with a soul retrieval. Or pray to God that God will give you the access to the Akashic records so you can see this yourself. And trust that you will be given that if you are one of those souls that's supposed to have that access. And if not, seek help. We are in this together. And probably if you are listening to this, you are not this human who is walking around in complete ignorance and not being aware of his or her divine nature. You are here because you want to remember who you truly are. You are probably here because you really want to make those energies, the masculine and the feminine, to work together in harmony, to come into this sacred marriage with each other. The sacred union within and so without. You're probably here because you want to change the world. And as healers, we need to help each other sometimes, I believe. Or at least stand together and acknowledge where we are wounded. And then we can just embrace that within each other and see that even though there's a wounded part, there's a soul within those eyes. And that soul wants to be manifested into the physical world. But it's waiting very patiently on you. It's there vibrating in love and light and peace and harmony. And purges itself through you, little by little, so you don't get overwhelmed by your own light. So you can take one level of those glasses off in the right timing. Step by step, we are bringing this human experience into a new earth. My in my inner vision right now, I see us holding hands. We are so many people on this earth who are doing this transformation, helping the earth to change into a new vibration. And I see us holding hands, seeing each other, acknowledging each other, remembering each other, our brothers and sisters. Oh, there you are. Oh, I forgot. Now I remember where I come from and why I'm here. And the intention of the soul before coming. Okay, let's get to work. That's what I see it. Let's do this work. Let's manifest the divine feminine and masculine into harmony. Let's change the whole human experience in this moment right now. And I see the angels are celebrating with us, just waiting for us to connect and receive their grace. I think I will conclude it with that. Hopefully you feel some of the energy I'm sitting in right now is just pure love, pure joy. Let that be integrated on this last day of Tiferet. Amen.